I know I'm paying myself and we're positive cash flow, and that's nice. An average product, like 40% ROI. Some of the stuff we're finding is 300, 400% ROI, and, those are real sexy.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Side Hustle Experiment podcast. We have a returning guest today. Cody does Walmart. He actually might have been Cody does Amazon when he was on about 7 months ago. So it might have been that, but we're happy to have him back on. Thanks for being here, man.
Heck yeah. Thanks for the invite. I watched a couple of episodes, in between, from then to now, and you guys are killing it, man. Podcasts are hard, and you guys are doing it.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. We're
Yeah,
trying to get a little bit better every time. That's the goal. Like I was just saying, I think turning into more of a discussion is just easier to listen to too, and it's not just like interview.
Right.
And it shows another side of people too. I think the interview stuff's like everybody kind of does that kind of content. It's like way more fun to talk about, get into something. Well, first thing we want to get into is your name is different. So what incited this change? Although I think on the last pod you did say you're like 30%, and now I suppose a lot more than that.
Yeah, so Walmart's booming, man. We love Walmart. It's just hard enough so that the idiots can't jump on easily, and it's just easy enough so that if you kind of have a little bit of spidey sense, if you've sold some stuff, then you can make bets. Without it does. One of the biggest challenges is there's not a lot of data, and so you kind of have to like check your gut, like, well, we'll see what this does, and so that's done pretty well for us. So we're probably like 60-70% Walmart and the rest Amazon. We've had a couple months since the name change where Walmart, where Amazon, there's a bolo, or there's some kind of jump in sales for on that side, but our main focus is just grinding out Walmart.
What are the numbers you're putting up these days on there?
So we average like 25 to 35. I think we've had one where we were in the 40s on Walmart, and then on the Amazon side, just wherever it goes. I think we'll finish below 20 this month on Amazon, and the majority of that's retail arbitrage. We're looking for the home run, stuff that you can only get walking into stores. And so it's a lot more work, but hey, I got 6 kids to feed, and so and a mortgage. So I'm into the active income scene, and it is very, very active.
For sure. What about the margins? What does the margins look like there?
If you want the exact spreadsheet I have used to sell over $3 million on Amazon, how I track my buys, how I track my best sources, where I put links to my favorite sites, I have a spreadsheet that I've spent the last 2-3 years building. If you want access to it, it is absolutely free. Just go to the free resources section down below this video. 100% free. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah, so I just hired a bookkeeper. Thanks to John. Thanks for talking me through some of that.
Yeah, of course.
We I don't really know, and it's bothersome that, like, used to I would be like, well, it's somewhere in the blah 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 percentage. Honestly, now that we're kind of pulling all our numbers, I have no idea. We're making money. I know I'm paying myself, and we're positive cash flow. And that's nice. An average product, like 40% ROI. Some of the stuff we're finding is 300, 400% ROI, and those are real sexy. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure. Which is a terrible answer. So don't model your business bookkeeping habits after me.
No, but I feel like that is healthy. If you could like pay yourself and take money out and still cash flow, that's usually, a good sign. And you'll see once you get the bookkeeper, it is eye-opening. Like if you look at inventory labs or whatever you're using, that number you could probably cut that in half, maybe. Just depending, because it accounts for everything.
yeah, you start putting in like the real numbers, and it's like, well, yeah, but what about this expense? And it's like, I don't really want to talk about that, you know. I think some positive things, you know, that I'm excited about are, like I said, we're cash flow positive, which is good, but also our inventory is growing, and you know that's exciting to me. Like it seems counterintuitive, like you would want your inventory to be going down, but like a lot of the stuff we're buying. You know, we shop at. I'll say the name of the store, even though the Ollie's mob is going to come after me. They don't want you talking about it publicly, but we do a good bit of Ollie's. Freaking love Ollie's. You know, good stuff, cheap. And so you know, you go in and they got one truck of freaking Guatemalan coffee, just say, and it's like really, really good. But you know that every other Ollie's in the freaking country just got a pallet of Guatemalan coffee too, and so you know you kind of have to play the game. And so our strategy is we try to. Everybody says you need to be first in or last out. We're trying to be first in and last out. So we're RA as fast as possible, getting it into WFS, and then trying to get sales going. But then we're also putting, you know, half, or you know, I don't really have a formula. I just kind of eyeball it, but you know, some portion of that we're putting away for when nobody has it anymore. And so that's kind of our strategy is, you know, we want to be the last person selling Guatemalan coffee for the, you know, the ungodly reseller, you know, markup. And that's our, you know, part of our strategy too.
Yeah, I feel like nobody's talking about this Walmart thing very much. Like people do, but it's definitely not caught on. Like I guess like you're like everybody I've heard talk about it makes more money on that than Amazon, but it's like maybe that's the reason people aren't talking about it, I guess.
There are more people saying, you know, shh. Like I get when I start talking about Walmart, more people are saying that than about other stuff that I talk about. And you know, it's definitely there's definitely like a private, you know, quiet side, you know, to it. And you know, I started a whole Discord about it, so like I can't, you know, like I don't get to not talk about, you know, that would be, you know, crappy on my side. But you know, really, you take an average Amazon seasonal flip, like looking at right here, I have a pile of these plush toys that are Halloween themed, and it's a popular cartoon. I can tell you, you know, it's going to be $10 more on Walmart. And so we're sending them in both. We're going to send them to Amazon and Walmart just because we want to sell more of them. But the money's better on Walmart. If you can figure it out, you know, inbound shipping's better. There's no placement fees. There's no splits. Some people are seeing splits on the inbound shipments, but the way I do it, I just do it box by box. And I've never had not even one split. And inbound shipping is pretty cheap. And then the hardest part is people just don't know how many to send, or they're unsure. You know, they're they're uncertain about. You know, I don't know. They want to keep it rest their head on at night, and we just don't have it yet for Walmart. Which means that the people who aren't worried about having a Keepa to rest your head on, you know, I have friends who are richer than me that are sending in 200, 300 units of stuff at a time, and you know that's not my game yet, but they're sure about it, and they don't, you know, they don't have a Keepa, and so it's possible to make those big bets with Walmart too.
Yeah, I think people probably don't recognize the fact that less tools and stuff like that is better for a platform. Like the reason that Amazon is the way it has been trending is because there's 9,000 tools. There's 9,000 people teaching it. Like
Yep,
that obviously makes things hard. But when there's something that not a lot of people are teaching, not a lot of people are having tools for it, when it's more unknown, that's like where the money is, which it sounds like this type of situation.
that's where we're at. I mean, that's exactly what we're doing. You know, the dummies haven't, you know, like they haven't come over really yet, you know, and maybe I'm part of the problem. Maybe maybe I should, you know, I don't know. It's not in my nature though, you know. I'm not really, you know. I make content and I make videos every single day for the internet, and I feel like I'm gonna make one or two connections with somebody that, you know, it's really really gonna change their life. And you know, my thought process is, you know, I came from poverty. If I have someone that, you know, is trying to grind it out on Amazon. They can't figure it out, and then they see a piece of my content, and then it just sparks them being able to have a ton of success with what's working with me. I feel really good about that. Also, Gary Vee said make content, so I've been making content for years now. So shout out Gary Vee.
What do you got, John?
Yeah, no, that's really exciting to hear about Walmart. We actually just had, was Rakin the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the last one. He's really interested in kind of looking into Walmart and trying that based on kind of the Amazon squeeze, and we were talking about that. And I
He's
think
doing the eBay thing, right?
Yeah, he does eBay, E2A, so eBay to Amazon.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
Yeah, what you were saying, and I think what Drew was saying, there's just so many tools and so much information on Amazon, and I think kind of what Walmart was A to A flips, and now there's like courses on A to A flips, and probably everyone doing kind of that same A to A flip. So now that's gone. The next thing to go is going to be Keepa filters and stuff like that. So the more and more stuff that gets put out there, it just gets worse and worse. Or harder to get an edge anyway.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think it's just going to get harder. Inventory costs are going to go up, but that's not what kills the resellers. What kills the resellers is the cost of reselling, which is your inbound shipping, your outbound shipping, fees, placement fees. Amazon has so many sellers, they don't give a crap. They're like, yeah, I mean, think about what happened this year. They're like, we're going to give you a whole new fee. But why? Well, just because, with the placement fee bullcrap. And everybody was pissed for like 7 minutes. And now everybody's just like, yeah, you just got to account for the new Amazon fee, because Jeff Bezos needs another, whatever. It's going to continue. I wouldn't be surprised if they double down on that fee. And in the next 24 months, instead of us accounting for 80 cents a pound to do business with FBA, we're going to be accounting for $1.50, or like who knows where it goes. And the truth is, WFS will follow as soon as they feasibly can. As soon as Walmart can, they will impose placement fees and other bullshit fees with this or that or who knows what. And it's the squeeze. If you don't like it, go get on a Shopify store and drive your own traffic. And they don't, like, you don't want to do that. That sucks. So
it's very hard. I can tell you now. Driving your own traffic is not as easy as Amazon and Walmart traffic, I'm sure. What do you have, John? I was just had a thought, but I've lost my train of thought completely.
How are returns on Walmart versus Amazon? I've heard mixed opinions. I've heard returns are worse. I've heard returns aren't as bad. Kind of how does that process work?
Worse across the board. Plan for it to be worse. And I haven't really messed with apparel or shoes, but I have sold socks. And they do decent on Walmart. But if you look at the grocery category on Amazon, like 0 returns, like almost 0 returns. On Walmart, probably like 2 or 3%. Like there are returns even in the grocery category. And so also Walmart returns are more expensive than Amazon returns. And so like you go through and start looking at the fees and stuff, like is not cheap, and they're definitely a problem. So if I were going to sell like a high return item, I would be nervous about it. Or like a high ticket item. There's less protections for the Walmart seller than like with Amazon. You can kind of bet that they'll back you or have your side in a case. With Walmart, in my experience, Walmart is not like that yet. And so you get screwed. They're just like, yeah, you got screwed. That sucks. Like, and that's it. And then they can't help. I can't help you. And so and also with reviews. I guess I'm just gonna get on my soapbox and complain about everything Walmart wise, but no review ever will be struck through. They have a hard policy on the strike through. So, for example, I recently sold a Mr. Beast toy, and it was fulfilled by Walmart. The customer canceled, but Walmart sent it anyways. the customer then is going to return it on my dime to WFS, which sucks because it was their mistake. But they also left a 1-star review against me because Walmart sent them what they ordered and then canceled. Well, Walmart says, I don't care. We don't remove reviews ever because we want to be authentic or whatever. They're afraid of a class action lawsuit or something, I'm sure. Freaking sucks. Like what did I do? I just got I got the bill and
That was eBay's policy. So when I sold books on eBay, like if a seller complained, they're like, "We don't strike anything. You have to handle it with the buyer." So if you
yeah.
could get the buyer to remove it, or like such a strict policy, like you couldn't even call in or do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Wow, like this was not my fault,
Yep.
and you're not going to do anything about it." They're like, "Work it out with the buyer."
Yeah. On Amazon, I mean, as you guys know, if Amazon fulfills it, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the time, majority of the time, they'll automatically strike it through, or they'll strike it through if you request. With Walmart, they're just like, yeah. Like I have friends with zero positive feedback because all they've gotten is negative, and they're not crappy people. Like I don't think they're doing anything, to earn that. Like Walmart just doesn't care. Also, I haven't heard anybody getting kicked off for low feedback either. So maybe it's the rising tide helps everyone, the lowering tide hurts everyone. Or, I don't know, however that works.
And do you get a lot of feedback on there? That's what my next thing was going to be like. Does it even out? But it sounds like not a lot of positive, just the negatives.
Yeah, I think it evens out somewhat eventually. So I've done 9,200 orders or something as of today, and I think I have like 27 feedback or something like that. So I don't have 100% positive. Like it's as I say it out loud, that's not a lot of feedback. So maybe it doesn't even out. Maybe there's just not a lot. What would 1% of
Yeah, it's like 0.25% or
Yeah,
maybe even 0.025, right? Yeah,
probably.
0.25%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It's less than 1%. Yeah, so you figure on Amazon 1 to 2% is what people say, right? So yeah, I guess I have less.
Yeah, I don't know the exact statistic. So what about with you selling this stuff? Is there like no velocity tracker at all? It's just like I hope this thing sells.
There are tools. So 6 months ago, I would have said there are no good tools. They've launched probably 10 things since then, and I haven't tested them all. Martyr does a pretty good job. You can see what reviews came in inside what month, and so that helps you gauge some velocity. They have a sales estimate, which I've seen be like real accurate in my experience, and then I've seen it be like way high. Like they'll guess like 10,000 a month or something. I'm like, there's no way to selling 10,000 a month. There's Data Spark. There's 2 or 3 other ones. I've tried several of them. I haven't really loved any of them. Martyr is the one I use, today, and that's kind of where I settled. And they're from the same guys as that put out Nepeto, but it's just like a Chrome extension. It gives you, two screens of data on everything they can pull. I'm assuming, and that that's pretty much all I'm using. Is just Martyr. You look for reviews. You look for if it says bestseller at the top, or if it says moving fast. 200 people have this in their cart. That's a clue. And then the other big thing is just look up the corresponding ASIN. How is it doing on Amazon? If it has a 4,000 plus sold in the last 30 days badge on Amazon, it's going to translate something to Walmart. And I've heard people say it's a tenth of that, and I've heard people say it's about the same. I think it's different with every category, every product. You just kind of have to, it's a guess. The right answer is everybody's just guessing.
It's funny that like there's so much, not so much negative, but it's like guessing and some negative stuff, and you're like, yeah, it's just still way better. I find that kind of interesting.
I think if I were doing wholesale and I had, the pressure of doing, 1,000 ASINs type volume, I would be real worried about Walmart because, you have to make bigger bets. With me, I pick a SKU, I throw $200 to $500 at it, maybe less. Like if it's a grocery product, I might spend $40, and I just see what happens. And then there's a responsibility on you, or I guess more of a reward for you if you can compile your own data and you can say, I know that here's the data that I have. If I break it down, I know these went into stock on this day. I sold 2 a day while they were in stock, and then I was out of stock. If you can take that data and use it, then you have your own Keepa. You have your own data that you can use that nobody else has access to because everything's so crappy. So, what we've done is kind of cast a wide net. We've tried a bunch of different stuff, and now we're just guessing a little better, hopefully. So that's our strategy, is guessing a little better.
When it comes to prepping these shipments, maybe this is like the most basic question ever, but do you still have to put SKU labels on, or is it all like barcode?
Yeah, everything's connected to UPC. So as long as the barcode matches the listing you want to sell on, you literally just throw it in a box. So I'm signing a lease for a warehouse on September 1st, and we got 2,000 square feet. I've already been thinking I would never ever start a prep center. That would be the worst thing ever. But I've been thinking, like, what if I did easy prep Walmart stuff for OA sellers? Because, like, you literally, like, here's my shipping process. I pull it up, make sure it's in my inventory, scan it, drop it in a box, tape it, and send it out. And then I do a second shipment for a second box, third shipment for a third box. I promise I could do 100 units of something. Like, I won't pull it out, but like I've got a big box that just came in from Sam's. It's got like 40 something units in it. I'm going to scan it once, type in that I have however many units, 40 something units, tape it back up, slap 2 labels, and put it out. It'll take me 90 seconds to prep that. And so, like, that's a huge, benefit because, that same shipment with Amazon would take me considerably longer. Putting stickers on it, splitting it up into 27 godforsaken boxes or whatever they request, and so that's a big benefit with Walmart.
Dude, that's the selling point. I was like, I've been getting shiny object syndrome this entire podcast, just sitting here basking in this. But like the thing I thought was like, my biggest hesitant to even try to do somebody. I did a call for John yesterday in his group, and somebody asked, "Well, why don't you come back for Q4 and try to hit like 50K profit or something crazy?" And I'm like, I would have to get a new prep center because I'm not going to do all that Amazon prep myself. That shit sucks. But
No way.
knowing that Walmart's that easy, I'm sure the prep centers are way cheaper because that stickering and all that stuff, that's really the annoying part of doing Amazon prep. But I bet there are prep centers that do it for like 30 cents a unit. Or I don't even know if they charge like that because if everything, from my understanding, you scan it once and you put like, I have 100. So just throw them in there, right?
That's it. I mean, that's it.
You'd probably just have to count to make sure, like, whatever's in the box, like you had 40 in the box, and now that checks out. You're like, okay, cool.
Yeah. My prep center that I was using. I'm sorry. Say what?
They have weight limits or dimension limits for boxes.
I think they do, but I just go by Amazon's box standards and their the regular weight limit. So I don't really know what they are on Walmart.
What were you saying though before that?
The prep center that I've been using for the past like 6 months. I won't be using them going forward. So hopefully.
If you're still listening to the podcast at this point, you are into it and a fan, and we really appreciate that. If you could do us a solid and like, subscribe, and do all that stuff, it really helps the podcast grow. And secondly, if you could tag us on Instagram, just take a picture of what part you are at the podcast. If you like it, tell us what you think about it. Tag me at Side Hustle Experiment, and I will definitely share it. Now let's get back to the podcast.
They don't see this before I talk to them, but with us having the warehouse now, we'll be bringing that in house. They were charging 85 cents a unit for Walmart, and it's pretty good. Like, I'm tempted to still keep them on. Some of the stuff for someone like you that's doing OA, you order 50 or 100 units. You're throwing cash, and that's a little different. With me, I might have the same amount of units, but they're all going to have a sticker. And so de-stickering and then repacking, it's worth it for me to pay somebody else to do some of that. But yeah, I mean, I would vouch for them. They do a great job, even though I'm probably not going to be working with them again. But 85 cents a unit, that's not not bad.
Yeah, I see the opportunity now. John, what do you think about this? Maybe I just start documenting my Walmart journey and see how fast I can hit like a 50K month. That's what I'm trying to think of, because I'm like, the skill set has to translate. And I already know, I haven't said it on this pod, because one, I don't know if you do this. I don't want to burn the loop, but I do know of a sourcing method on there that people are using to make a lot of money, which we'll talk about it afterwards. Sorry for the people listening if you're selling on Walmart. I don't want to expose anything like too much, but I'm like, I could probably use that and do it. So you got me a bit intrigued here. Is it hard to get the account set up? I heard in the past it was a little difficult to get approved.
Yeah, they don't approve everybody. So, and I got approved immediately, and so I'll tell you what I said and what they didn't verify. When I applied, I said I was doing 7 figures in projected revenue for that year, and that I had a warehouse and 2 employees, that I primarily sold grocery, and that I only sold new items. And they auto approved me on that, and they never verified anything. So those are just some things that I know. Do with that what you will.
Yeah, that's probably really good information. Yeah, because I always heard, I was under the notion that it was so hard to start that's one of the reasons I never even looked into it.
They also like for you to have an LLC, so I'm sure you have that, whatever. But use an established. Don't start one and try to have a separate business. Like, apply and get the account under your established business.
Cool. What do you think about this, John? Your wheels spinning up there? Or what?
Yeah, my wheels are definitely spinning just because, I mean, I love Amazon, but I'm also doing the influencer program. So with Amazon, you can't double dip. So anything I buy for Amazon, I can't review. Even it's risky per se. Like if I send in this water bottle and like I'm not gonna replenish it, like delete the listing, like why risk it, right? For whatever you might make. So in my head, I'm like, maybe if I started selling on Walmart, buying inventory, I just review that inventory, use that for the influencer program, and then make on top on Walmart. I didn't realize that you didn't have to label this stuff, which is super interesting. And
Dude, that's selling me on it hard. Like you
some
saying that, I don't know why. I'm so lazy that the labeling thing was like, I don't know why, but I hate it. Go ahead, sorry.
And for some of the sourcing methods, I'm not gonna say them on here, that I've seen you post in your story and that kind of you texted me. Like I'm in a really prime location to do that. Just based on where I am. So my wheels are definitely spinning. I don't know if I could like take on a whole new venture right now, but I don't know. Maybe we do together.
Talk
We
us into
documented
it.
on this podcast. We just go all in.
We've done all these podcasts, and there's only been one thing I've tried since we're doing all these, and so many people have so many cool things they're doing. I tried Joji's thing with the used books, and that shit was way more complicated than I thought it was going to be, so I just immediately quit. But with the Walmart thing, it's like that is exactly OA, and it does seem a little bit easier aside from the reading the data part, which from what you've said, it doesn't seem that complicated. You just cross-reference stuff like that.
I almost assume like you use like your Amazon Spidey sense, and just apply it to Walmart and just kind of go from there.
Yeah, it translates. Like, it's not worse than 10%. So like, if you just find high velocity products that you would potentially make a bet on Amazon, but it's not profitable, but then it's 30% higher on Walmart, and then just assume it's 10% of the velocity, that would translate. Like, it's somewhere in that ballpark, and some of them are going to be around the same or maybe even more on Walmart. Like, there's some products that just do better, selling on, off of Amazon.
That's so interesting.
Is there a way to cross-reference ASINs on Amazon with like the things on Walmart easily, aside from just Googling it?
Not really. So they tried to have the ASIN as a sub like text box under the Walmart listings, and nobody put them in, and and it's not a required thing, so it's not easy to find. But I'm not plugging Martyr, but I should charge them for this. But if you pull up the product on any site with the Martyr extension, you can just hit the Martyr thing and it searches like SellerAmp does. So it'll search for the Walmart listing. So you can find it kind of that way.
Yeah, because what I was thinking is I don't even know, man, like 2,000, 3,000 different ASINs, maybe even more than that I've sold on Amazon. It's like
Sure.
if I could somehow cross-reference that data, I have all my sources, I have all my buy costs. So like it shouldn't be that difficult, I believe. Or
Hey,
so there's gotta be
let's
some way
join
to
up. Let's join up. I got I have a hell of a VA. I have a VA that's like a superhuman. I'm gonna end up paying them like double or triple what they started me with. But put them to work, get them to go through and make some notes on the Amazon to Walmart or Walmart to Amazon, or whatever, however you have it set up. I'd be interested in something like that. I'll if you
We'll
guys are.
talk about this. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Maybe my head's just like I'm getting too much shiny object stuff, but
You
it
might be.
just feels like you just aren't the first person to say this. Like we had Crazy Flippin' Mom, she said this, and then
Oh yeah.
Raken said this. Somebody else said this too, and it's like I've just kind of been hesitant because I'm like I want to get out of the reselling, but
Oh, it was
if I can
Duke.
set up a prep
Duke was the
center,
other one.
yeah, and I think too, where you were talking about the stickering, I bet there's prep center that do it even cheaper. If there's no stickering, if you
Probably.
don't have to remove stuff, like I don't even know what the price would be, but it would have to be like super super cheap because it's not the labor is just not hard. Or, I mean, shit, I could do it myself. I wasn't so lazy. We'll see, but
One thing that you got to consider is before you make a big bet on inventory, you need to there's no clear gating criteria, so you would need to put it into your inventory, make sure you're ungated, and then you would need to convert it from seller fulfilled to WFS to make sure there's not an error there. And so like that's a process, that's a little bit, so like if you were going to order 100 things, there's a per unit cost of having to go in and make sure that you're good on those things, because you're probably not gated, but like any brand that Walmart has a contract with, so Great Value, Heart, um, what's the Adventure Force, like brands like that, they're going to be completely hard gated. You can't touch them. And then some like if it's like a toy gun, almost every time they're going to have an error when you go to do WFS. And there's other stuff like that too. So I mean, there's a cost of having to put it in your inventory, but as soon as it's in the inventory, like I said, I mean it's a no brainer.
Could you put it in inventory like when you're sourcing to just
I
make sure?
don't. Yeah, I don't, but I like to live life on the edge. So primarily, I'm buying items that, best case, I can sell on Walmart at the profit margin that I want to be in. Worst case, I can sell on Amazon and get my money back. So that's my kind of formula for sourcing. So I'm looking for, can I make bank on Walmart if everything goes great? Or if there's an error with Walmart, can I at least churn it on Amazon to get my cash back, pretty quick? And that's been working for us, because if we do run into gating, then we make a note not to buy that brand. And then if we run into errors, then we can just move it from the Walmart table to the Amazon table and just send it out that way.
with the gating, elaborate on that a little bit. Like, so are there brands that are gated, or what it sounds like? If it's a toy gun, that kind of sounds like I don't know. Is it gating specifically, like brand wise, or something different?
Yeah. So 6 months ago, I would have said that the biggest hangup with Walmart is the errors, because we had so many errors all the time, getting stuff added in. Now it's a lot better than it was, but there's still some errors. And so you enter it in, it says you can sell it, and then you go to convert it to put it on Walmart, and then it gives you an error. And so there's a high pricing error, there's a comp error, there's a this item is prohibited error, and so like all these different things that could happen. I would say, once I'm finished processing, like 1 in 10 that I get have some reason that I can't process it same day. It's been as bad as 1 in 3 in the past, but we're better. We're better now, and I have a list. I'll send you guys. John, you might be in there already, but I can give you a lifetime pass to my Discord. It has a channel in there for Walmart IP stuff, and it has all the brands and different categories and stuff that where you see those type of errors, and it I reference that whenever if I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, I see.
This has been like a crazy sales pitch here for no reason, because now
For
I'm like, dude, I'm about to join anyway. So you've just sold me on this thing a lot. What is your group? What's your plug yourself a little bit here while we're in the middle of this conversation, because you deserve it for giving all this info for
it. Cody does Walmart on social media, and then I have a group, $9 a month, and it's Walmart Education Club, Amazon Walmart Education Club, and we just bring. I'm not a coach. I don't want to be a coach, but I bring in people who are smart, that are better, better than me, and I pay for coaching sessions for members, and then it's recorded for the rest of the members. And so we have a Walmart course in there, and then we have some other stuff too, and it's pretty active. We pay a couple moderators that do, have a more attractive operation than mine. They're bigger than me, and those guys are real smart. So.
What's the most you've seen somebody do per month on Walmart right now?
There's a guy on the Discord. His name's Noah. He just hit a 50K week on Walmart, and I don't know anything past that, but he shared his screenshots. Dude's doing freaking volume, hundreds of orders a day, and I don't know what he's selling exactly. You should get him on here. He's the guru. But there are people, I'm sure doing more than that. I'm sure they're out there. But that's the most that was the other day, and that's pre Q4. I imagine he'll have some pretty attractive months. Our goal, we're grinding towards 100K months on Walmart. Amazon is just an afterthought at this point. Like, wow. We know what we know, and so we're keeping it going. And why turn it down? But our goal is to just keep building the catalog of products, keep replenishing the good ones until we want to be 6-figure months on Walmart.
Yeah, this is pretty intriguing going into Q4 too, right? The volume's probably going to like 2, 3, 4x on there. So that's also making a little bit of intriguing.
Fingers crossed. I hope so. I hope you're right.
Well, definitely. I guarantee it. I'm sure it'll have like this similar volume to what Amazon has normally if you're going into Q4. Because I know somebody had said this, like the demographics older on there, which I kind of know the older people that I know, they all shop on Walmart more than Amazon.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Dealing with the returns, I guess that'd be something else. I'm trying to like think through all the negatives and the positives here. Cause I'm like, how much would this add on time in my life? But it doesn't seem terrible. What do you think, John? Are you thinking about it all? Or are you like, no, I've got too much stuff going on?
A mix of both. I do think it's intriguing because for me, obviously, most of my money comes from Amazon, but I also really like the influencer program, and that would allow me to double dip if I sold on Walmart and did that. So that kind of gets my wheels spinning a little bit too, and I've heard about it a lot. And it's one of those things, it reminds me of the influencer program. I've seen a bunch of people do it. I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, it seems a little wishy-washy. Then you hear some more people do it, and then someone or someone who's like pretty close to you is like making 8 to 10K a month. And you're like, okay, like I know this person's not full of shit. Like, there's definitely something here. Like, I need to look into this now. And that's kind of where I'm getting with Walmart. The more and more I hear about it. Do you know 7-Figure Grammy?
Yeah, I don't know her, but I watch her content.
Yeah, I remember I met her at a conference. It was actually Crazy Flippin's mom's conference, and I'm pretty sure, like, I don't want to speak for her, but I think she put up like a 90K month or something on Walmart or something.
I could totally see it. Like,
it was crazy. And I think a bunch of people who are at Crazy Flipping Moms conference put up like some big numbers. I saw someone else who does wholesale on Amazon open an account on Walmart. He got it up to 50, 60K in about
Yep.
3 months. I mean, I don't know what any of these people's margins are or whatever.
Right.
But it's definitely intriguing, for sure. For kind of, I guess one question I do have is there like, I guess storefront stocking? Is there a buy box that rotates, or there reprice? Like, kind of how does all that work?
Yeah, I'll answer that. One other thought from what you're saying about seven figure Grammy. And like I said, I don't know her, but she is goals. I have a friend who is strictly trying to build wholesale on Amazon. That's her primary goal. She started selling on Walmart because she knows she can move more volume if she has two platforms. And so her prep center, they're doing both. And so she's basically just increasing her order by 50% with her wholesale supplier. And then she knows, like she's in one of the big wholesale groups. She knows that with this supplier, if she hits a certain spend per year, she can leverage that to get her discount, like her cost down. And so she's just trying to have a bigger footprint with suppliers, and that's her whole reason of using Walmart. And that's everything I know about wholesale. That sentence was that's everything I know about wholesale. But I'm excited for her because it's working. She has pallets of low margin crap coming in, and she's using Walmart to be able to get the margins better. So to answer your other question, Walmart is like Amazon in 2012. Like that's kind of that's where we're at, and so like um, you know a lot of like it's gonna get much harder with more competition. But it's the Wild West in some ways. Like you can storefront stock hard. Like you can storefront stock all day long, and you can see their past products too. So like very easily you can just click on, see everything they sold, everything like you can read their whole book, and that's a cool it's a cool thing, especially when you consider that some of the like some of the very large arbitrage sellers are just copy and pasting over to Walmart. I mean, I just told you I do it. Like you can use that backdoor way to kind of just you just pull up their Walmart page. About halfway down on the left, it says "Shop all seller items," and you got their whole catalog right there.
Dang. What about the buy box situation?
Yeah, it's kind of a mystery. One thing I'm trying to figure out if there's a regional buy box because I'm selling a product much, much higher than Walmart, and I'm getting sales, and they're showing in stock for me, but people are paying like over 2x for the product, and so I think that there's a regional buy box that rotates, but nobody really knows. So the hierarchy is WFS, um, is going to get the buy box unless there's a WFS seller who has the pro badge. Then they're going to get the buy box. If you're just seller fulfilling it from your basement, you got to you're going to have to lower the price by like $5 or something below those other guys to get the buy box typically. And so, that's kind of the environment. Like if you're willing to send it into WFS, I've gotten the buy box like $10-15 higher than the other guys without a pro badge.
And how many sellers are typically on these listings? Like maybe that's an insane question. What's the most sellers you've seen? What's the typical, that type of thing?
Most sellers I've seen is like 20 or 30. I haven't seen one like on Amazon where you see it where it's like 300 sellers or something. I haven't seen that. I bet I'll see it this year. If I'm a betting man, I'll see it this year. But I haven't seen that yet. Typically, you're looking at like 2, 1, like single digits, maybe 9 or 10, but typically it's not that high. And WFS sellers are even more rare. Like you typically don't see that many sellers that are also sending in. Like a lot of people got the account and then they're just cross listing their stuff, that they have seller fulfilled. And then they, I imagine that's what's going on, but they haven't figured out how to WFS, send it into the warehouse yet, which is where I was for like a year until Arbitrage Avenue. Sarah I don't know her last name. Sarah, what's her face?
Right, I think. Right?
Yeah, she does really well with Walmart, and she's been talking about it for years. But like when I was learning, she walked me through my first WFS shipment, and which is funny. Freaking love her. You should have her on and talk about Walmart because she's a real guru. But I think she's got a store or warehouse or something that she's growing Walmart with. But like most people are sitting there scared. They don't know how to make a WFS shipment, and they just don't know. And that's kind of where I was until I figured. Then you do one or two, and you're like, oh, a toddler could do this. I could have my 7-year-old come do this. So
I remember my first Amazon shipment, and it took me like 4 hours to ship 7 books.
yep.
It was so crazy. Like, how do you print the labels? Like, where do they go? Like, where is the shipping label? Where is the label? Is this like, it took forever. So I just wrote back. So what is the pro badge? It seems like you don't have one. How do you get one?
So I should know it off the top of my head, but I don't. It's something about your metrics. You have to ship a certain amount of units per month. You have to have a certain amount of on-time shipping, crap like that. So I get it sometimes, and then I don't get it sometimes. And so I wish I got it every time, but it's not, I don't actively track it. But when I do get it, I'm like, yeah, I'm a pro seller, and it's cool to have. I think it resets every 30 days.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Is Walmart
I'm
on
just
most of the
I just
listings?
think it so much right now. Go
Is
ahead.
Walmart on most of the listings that you sell on?
No,
Oh.
I wouldn't compete against Walmart. The one that I'm competing with them, I was actually pissed when I saw them come on the listing because I was selling it up here, and then they came in stock way below, and I thought I would stop getting sales, but I didn't. And so that's what has me thinking about the regional buy box is that one product, because I'm thinking, how many products are there that I scan with the Walmart app? It looks like Walmart's in stock, but they're only in stock for Southeast United States, but they're out of stock for the rest of the country. There's no way to know that. There's no software or data on that. So there's only real one way to figure out is to put it up for sale. And that could get real expensive real fast competing against Walmart and being wrong about that. But Walmart is on about the same percentage of the total listings on Walmart as Amazon is on the Amazon listings. Like, they're on some, but most listings they're not on.
Wow.
Yeah, Walmart definitely works regionally because I remember I used to buy like PlayStation 5s and that type of thing, and they would be in stock for me and not in stock for someone else. So that definitely works like that, which is interesting. Yeah, I guess you could try to pick 4 different zip codes from like each 4 corners of the country and see. Maybe you could rotate like that on a buying account and see if that would happen. Maybe I just gave you a little tip there, but
That's a great idea.
yeah, try to do
You could
north.
start a software. You just do that one thing and charge $9 a month for it, or $5 a month, and just be like, call it the regional buy box.
Examiner.
Yeah, look at that. We just started a business.
True. No, it is interesting. I'll be in contact with you after this for sure if I decide to do it, because it does seem like it's not that difficult, especially if you just get approved easily and these shipments aren't that bad. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're doing 100 SKUs, the input is the problem, because there's a cost per SKU in time of having to input it and check it, and double check it, wait for them to get back to tell you if it converted correctly or not, and so that I have a VA that does 100% of that for me. I scan it into a sheet, she tracks it down, and that was the biggest advancement in my operation ever, was having her take that over. And so there's a cost there in time, but if you have some that are just bangers that you're just real confident about, if you're doing like, say you had 2 SKUs, that cost would be almost non-existent. And it's just going to come down to if you have good stuff, you know um uh you, you know you if it's doing volume, you don't have to do all that front end stuff multiple times. Whereas with me, I'm processing 100 new SKUs a week or something, and because of our model, and so I'm constantly having to think about that metric.
Are you doing? Maybe you mentioned this before. Is it like mostly RA on Walmart? Or are you doing any OA at all?
We do some OA, so we we have kind of an advantage of seeing a bunch of leads all the time. So yeah, I buy OA, but we're really looking for the home run stuff now because our capital is limited. Like we're not like if I had another 100K to throw around, I would be killing it. But we're building back from zero, and so our capital is lower. So we made the conscious decision to spend as much time as we need to spend all of our money on like home run opportunities. That's kind of our focus. Is like, I'm buying for $1.80, selling for $13.99 on Walmart, and there's a lot of that if you're willing to wheel and deal and walk into stores and flirt with cashier managers and the very active part of RA, and so that's our strategy for now.
And another thing I was just wondering is how fast do these products like tank in the traditional sense of that?
Figure whatever you would expect on Amazon divided by whatever the difference in sellers are. So I don't see it happen as often where it's like just sitting at $49.99 and then all of a sudden it's 27.42 then 27.41. Like you see that on Amazon every single freaking day. Please stop that to anyone watching this. But it definitely happens. It's happening, and you can get a sense for it. But another good thing about that is that seller fulfilled person, they can't penny drop a WFS seller typically. They've got to dollar drop them and then dollar drop them. And so I just haven't seen as much of that happening because they would have to take such a big, jump. And so typically what happens is they're staying in that, same price. But there's been some stuff, especially on the lower dollar stuff, like when you get below $10, there's like the pricing's a little different. Then it's just WFS sellers just trying, doing whatever they can to get the buy box. So yeah, the answer is it's all over the place. It's human behavior, so it's going to happen.
Yeah. And the shipping through that stuff, Amazon has UPS. Does Walmart has FedEx, right? Is it shipped through like a central discounted FedEx thing?
Yeah. All the inbound is. It definitely comes out cheaper than Amazon. Usually somewhere between like 30 cents a pound to like 70 cents a pound, something like that is what we're usually around. Usually closer to that, like 40, 50, something like that.
Oh, so it's cheaper that way too. What about the fees? Is it like a standard 10% or 15% or what?
I can tell you because I've done it so many times off the top of my head. Because we didn't have a calculator for the longest time. It's 15% off the top, and then the WFS fees start at $3.45 for under 15 ounces, and then it goes up to like $4.95 if it's like around a pound or more, and then 3 pounds it's like I don't know $7 or something like that. That goes up from there, and that's it. There's no no other fees for actually selling the product.
Okay, so yeah, so it's like $4 on top of the standard 15%.
Right. That's for if you do fulfillment. If you fulfill it yourself, then you don't pay those fees.
Well, that makes sense. Then that kind of makes sense why there's no stickers and stuff. It seems like they're probably doing that type of shit because that's kind of expensive per unit, right?
I don't know. Figure I'd be curious to put it next to Amazon because $3.45 fulfillment fee. You're gonna pay whatever you pay to get it inbound. So that cost would be there, and then for say a 14 ounce thing of coffee, you're gonna pay $3.45 plus the 15%. I bet it's similar to Amazon. Like because that if I have something that I'm not sure about weight wise, then I'll put it into actually like a Amazon calculator because I can count on that's the fees with Amazon. I know it'll be less with Walmart. So.
What else you got, John? I'm kind of out of questions, man. I've just like deep dove into your brain about Walmart. This wasn't what I expected at all, but I'm like super intrigued, man.
I have a question for John, if I can.
Yeah, go for it.
This influencer program. So I'm approved. I
Okay.
have the account. We made like $50 one month because my wife and I put out some videos, and one of them did well for whatever reason. But I just feel like tomorrow Amazon's gonna come and be like, gotcha, and then it seems like they're gonna shift their focus at some point. Like we all know Amazon, they don't give a crap about the individual people. Like, you think this is still around in 5-10 years? Like, should I be building this? Because I have like mountains of Walmart stuff that would be TOS compliant. I could put my reviews in on them.
I mean, I would. So will it be around in 5 years? Probably 10 years. I don't know. I mean, I think so. This is what I'll tell you numbers after we get off of this because you can't like talk
Okay,
about it publicly. But for the amount of sales I generate for Amazon off of my content versus what they pay me is pennies to them. It's like insane. Like it just makes so much sense for them. UGC is kind of like the new thing. I feel like they're
sure,
just partnering with TikTok, and they're just running some promotions right now where it's just like they are very heavily invested in this. I think this is the future for them, kind of, right? Everyone's consuming Instagram. I mean, Drew's talked about it a little bit. Like, basically, Amazon, I would think almost would probably prefer to be like a TikTok feed or something. Like, just
sure.
people like using a
I could see
product
that.
like that looks cool, or hairbrush, and then 10 hairbrushes pop up, and then whatever influence you connect with does something cool with the hairbrush. Like, I want that hairbrush. I mean, we could
Yeah,
be totally off with that, but I mean, I look at it as it doesn't take that much time to do like a minute video to be like, hey, this is a cup of noodle soup. Like, this is all you got to do is put hot water in it. Tastes really good. Really, like, if you're looking for a quick way to make soup in a rush, like, this is great. Like,
sure,
upload, see what happens. The drag with that is kind of the uploading it, tagging the product. Like, that seems to be like the biggest issue, but
sure.
I don't know. I really like it because I just enjoy making content. I mean, it's not where it needs to be yet. Like, I do think it's definitely worth the time. Obviously, Amazon is my main thing, and the influencer thing is just the influencer thing. But
Sure.
um, I see a lot of potential. I know people making 5, 10, 15 grand a month based on what they're doing. They've been doing it closer to 2 years. So, I mean, obviously, they have a pretty head start on that.
That's a crazy
I'm only
amount of money.
doing it for 6 months. So, I don't have a whole ton of data, right? Like, do my commissions continue to go up every month? So far, they have. Like, I don't know. Will that drop off? Like, do
Yeah,
videos drop off? It's hard to say. Um, but I think it's a great opportunity for anyone who kind of wants to do that. Obviously, your face is going to be all over Amazon, so that's something to think about. If that's not what you want.
yeah.
But I think it's a
Are you
great
doing? Are you? I
opportunity.
mean, you doing facing videos?
You could do both. So what I tend to do is I've been getting a lot of So eventually, once you like build it up, like if you could see back here, like those are all packages from brands, like all free items that I've been sent to review because like
Yeah,
they
they're like, give me
contact
an honest
you,
review.
yeah, through Instagram. So and then there's another part of the program where you could request stuff, and then you get all this stuff for free. So I'm getting like a ton of stuff for free right now, and all stuff that I could like use. So I
Sure.
definitely see it to be. I don't know. I thought when I started Amazon, it was way too good to be true, and like here I
Sure. I
am
can see that.
6 years later, and is it as good as it was 6 years ago? It's harder, obviously. and I'm sure that will happen with this. But I do think if Amazon's this invested into it, Walmart will be next. Target will be like, if this is really
Target
working
has
for
one.
Walmart, they are going to have to follow suit. Just as Walmart is like, well, we should do FBA, but for Walmart, because obviously
Yeah.
Amazon doesn't have to pay for 60% of the shit they're selling. Like, let the third party seller do that. So I do think that is the future of it. And
Yeah.
if you're keeping really good records, like, it's so annoying, but I'm saving like all my videos. So if for whatever reason, Walmart's like, okay, like we want videos now. It's like, well, I have 1,300 videos
That's a great
ready
idea.
to go on whatever platform that needs to be. And then
Yeah.
you have TikTok Shop, which I haven't gotten into, but I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing that you're looking at too, like especially you were saying, like if you wanted more money, like you don't have to put out any capital for this. You're
I
just,
like that.
I mean, your time is worth money, so I mean, but that's really the only capital you put up for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I should probably do it. I mean, even if if it's gonna be around for a year, you know,
Yeah.
what really happened with me is I started with my wife. I was like, we're gonna do this completely set because we pay ourselves a set salary. It's pretty good. It's not great, and we consciously decided to pay ourselves $12,000 less this year to put it into the business to really get things going, and so we were like, we're gonna do the influencer program. Anything that comes from that, we'll just add to our salary, and it'll be 100% passed through to us, and we just kind of fell off and didn't end up, you end up screwing around, not doing anything, and so I need to revisit that because
Yeah, it's so what I had the same feelings you had when I first started. I'm like, oh, like what is this? But I was like, just do 500 videos. Like it sounds like a lot, but you'll get there quickly. Like
yeah,
do 3 a day, 90 days, you're there. I think that math, or more than that rather. And you're there, and then I was like, okay. It was like it's like when you first start Amazon. I think my first day I made 12 cents, and I was pumped. I was like, yeah, all right. And then
yeah,
it's $1.50. You're like, oh, this is stupid. And then one day you hit 40. You're like, okay. And then it's like 30. You're like, all right. And then you have your first $100 day. I think the most I made in a single day was like 250, which is crazy to me. But yeah, if you just commit to like 500 videos and just, especially if you have like the Walmart inventory, I mean,
I mean,
it's
my
crazy.
limit wouldn't be the products. Like I have products, and like there's some other stuff I'm gonna be doing that I would have way more products that would be, compliant. Can we just stop for a second? I know we should probably get off at some point, but can you just can you just agree that you saying $15,000 a month, like in circles like this one, and like probably you guys as followers, you're like, that's not that much money because XYZ person makes blah blah blah. But if you talk to like a doctor,
Oh,
an
yeah.
actual like my wife is a CrossFit coach, and so like probably some of the most uppity, not uppity people, but like those people, they're paying $150 a month. They're making some money. They're kind of the upper whatever in our town. You start talking about $15,000 a month, and their head starts spinning. They're just like, "What the heck?" Like that's a crazy number. And so, just casually being like, "Yeah, whatever." And then like some of the numbers I've seen you guys talk up, it's like, you know, that's crazy. Like there's a whole a whole world out there that you just got to take your limiting belief hat off, and
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, oh man, like, can I get there? It seems like it, but and then you have to look, it's like you're only 6 months into this business, right? Like, what do you expect? Like,
yep.
so it's progressed well. I would just highly suggest you do it. But I don't know. I like the experience so far. But I have one last question for you. On
Okay.
the last podcast, you said that you had a private label brand that was almost on the verge of death. It's 7 months later. Is it still alive, or what's the deal?
So I bought out the other guy. So he had a royalty on all the sales, and it was supposed to go on for a while longer. And so offered him a nice 2 handful size of cash, and I said, hey, if I pay you this, could you go away? And he did. And so part of the reason we're getting the warehouse is because the front has a little storefront, and then it's like a little storefront, and then the back part of it is like a legit warehouse with a roll up door and the whole bit. Our bet with that is we want to make it like an HQ for the private label brand, because it's the type of product it is. We have like 10 SKUs or something. We can wholesale those to shops that are like in every town. So we're gonna have a display and a whole thing there. But to answer your question, we're probably like 300% of what we were when we talked last time, but it's still like less than $1,000 in sales or something. So it's not going very well yet.
Can
But
you say what it is, or you can't say?
yeah, I can. It's in the hunting category, and it's like a accessory. So it's nothing that would be regulated, but it's like kind of in the vein of like hunting like accessories. So it's a real good opportunity. I just haven't taken the time, mostly the money, but I haven't taken the time to really like make reorders and reach out and do the wholesale part uh off of Amazon and Walmart. And on Amazon and Walmart, I haven't done a great job running a private label brand. So order of operations, we got it. We're trying to get the arbitrage really, really going. That's what's funding everything, and then all these little side quests are, hopefully they'll catch up eventually.
Yeah, I would looking at influencers in that little space, and probably do well with that stuff. I can share a little insight about that too. Yeah. Well, dude, we're almost past time here. Do you have any parting words for the people?
Man, I'm rooting for you. If you're out there and you are on the poverty side of the poverty line, follow guys like this, do what we're doing, buy stuff low, sell a little bit higher, figure out the side hustles. Most of this stuff is super real and it actually works, and I'm rooting for you. Go sell some crap on the internet, baby.
I love the positive insight. I was going to say earlier when we were talking about the limiting beliefs, man, I've been around some people recently that really smash kind of everything. I talked to a guy the other day. This is a good little story for people quickly. He made $1 million in 1 month in 2020 profit doing what he did. It wasn't Amazon, it wasn't something like this, but it's still like hearing people that make, and I know guys that make 100, 200K a month in the Amazon arena of stuff. So it is really, really crazy when you hear those kind of stories, because it's like they're not any different than you. They're not
just regular people.
Yeah, they're not 200 IQ. They're not like, they don't have some sense in their brain that you have. It's just like, it's all about your brain. It's just like your mindset moving forward.
100%.
John, close us out. What do you say at the end? I forget, or I would say it.
Guys, thanks for being here. Like, share, subscribe. Go follow Cody. Join the education club, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.